Hey, Oscar. Okay, great. Thanks for getting this in. You know what? I really enjoyed that you gave me a color and black and white version, or you gave us rather. Sorry, it's not just about me. A color and a black and white version of each image. And also, I don't remember where you live, so I'm like, what are these people doing in the water? Or that guy, at least. These look really good. This one is pretty dark because we can't see any information in his shirt. But then when I look at him, I think, well, maybe he has really dark skin too, because I would expect to have brighter highlights here based on this cup. So okay, so he's just a really dark-skinned fellow. Okay, but it could probably have another stop or so of exposure, but it's in the acceptable range, you know. But even here in the color one, we don't see any information there in his shirt, or maybe I need to calibrate my monitor. I don't know. But your contact sheets look really good. Yep. I mean, they look pretty good. You know, thank you for that shot. And very smart also to meter hourly. A lot of times a photographer will meter every quarter of an hour because the light moves in the sky noticeably every quarter of an hour, so you never really know what's going to happen. You know, and also if you notice a weather change, of course, you know, you would remeter. But these look really good, and I think the compositions are pretty interesting. I'm not seeing a whole lot of like people in the middle of the frame without anything else going on, which I appreciate quite a bit. Yeah, these look pretty good. And we've got our color and our uncolored shots. You know, so yeah, so you wrote about something really interesting to me, actually. It was where people were literally telling you that they didn't want their image taken. And you didn't mention whether or not you were asking their permission, but regardless, I always think this is really interesting because, you know, you follow directions at the beginning of the course and you attached a snapshot of what you look like to that assignment, the autobiography. And so I think what's really interesting is I find, and I found this as a photography student as well, that people respond really differently to photographers based on what they look like. Now, you know, I'm about 5.5 feet tall, average weight, average frame, you know, blonde, big teeth, so when I smile it's gigantic. And I can pretty much get away with anything out on the street. Anybody will let me photograph them. And I'm not even charming. I'm not. And just based on what I look like, they're like, oh, this person couldn't possibly harm me. But if I remember correctly, you know, you have a much different look. You're a little bit more serious looking. One might even use the term intimidating. And it's so fascinating to me how, you know, somebody like you or I could have the exact same motivation for why we're photographing, but people will let one of us do it and not the other. I mean, I seriously even got off of like federal land with my camera when they were trying to confiscate it from me, and I was able to just get out of it because I'm like, oh, come on, look at me. What am I going to do? And they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. So I just think that's really, it's interesting. And I have no resolution for that other than it's just a real thing. And you have to be positive and creative about it, you know? And it doesn't look to me like it hindered your ability to get good shots at all. But it's interesting to me because if you and I were given the same assignment and went out on the same day, we would have much different experiences in regards to people's openness to allow us to take their image without even noticing. Like I would argue that people wouldn't even notice if I was doing it, whereas you know, a slightly larger fellow comes along and takes their image, and it's a big deal. Very, very interesting. Anyways, the work itself is very good. You did a great job even without people's cooperation. I really appreciate that you gave me both the black and white and the color version. I have to say that I think in all cases the color is working better. It reads much better. You know, and it might be your desaturation process, or they might just work better as color images. I don't know. I don't know what your process was. So, well done, and I will look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks.